A world with people whose emotions and thoughts are controlled by what others do or say, instead of them being in charge of themselves and not letting others take their individuality and happiness away. People fighting over who is wrong or right, instead of bringing change so that others would have a place to sleep at night. People with religion looking down on others without it, and people with no religion saying the world would be a better place without it. We are all beautiful and different in how we act and what we believe. That is what will save us all if we all turn our differences into unity and share with one another what we believe. Hatred is not something we are born with, it's what we are told. To fight this hatred, it'll take a world united, a world to stand and be bold. Human beings have lost their connection to the planet. Nowadays, the things that most concern us is what's going on in Hollywood, what's going on in the news, and who's being broiled today by the media, and which Hollywood star is having a psychotic breakdown, and and reality TV, and going out and buying the latest fashion, and basically being self-absorbed in ourselves so much that we purposely block out anything that doesn't have to do with what we want to be concerned with. We're willing for there to be things right in front of our face that are, you can see, are destructive, and yet we're willing to just put a blind eye to it because it doesn't fit in with what we want. So many people are selfish today, and one of those aspects comes with, the destruction of the environment. There are so many things that could be done to overhaul the way that we do things in order to prevent deforestation and climate change and the pollution of not only the air that the animals breathe, but the air that we breathe, so that we're not living in cities that are consumed with, you have to, when you go outside, it's like sucking in toxic waste. It's not even oxygen outside anymore. There's more filth and crap in the air than anything else, and there's no pure oxygen. To the point where people who live in areas like that, when they finally do make it to areas with actual oxygen, it makes them sick to breathe natural air. But our selfishness, our unwillingness to change because we want money and it's going to affect this and businesses will have to change and this and that, we take all of that and we plop it right in front to be our blind eye, so we can say, well, there's going to be this, and this, and this, and that, and this, and this, and this, and that, and whatnot, and here, and there, and whatever. All so that we don't have to change, so that we can stay within the comfortable state that we are. Well, eventually, it's going to change without you. Because unlike politics between Democrat and Republican, and unlike moving a machine and other things, eventually our planet is not going to need us. It's not going to need us to make the decision. Our planet is actually not, sitting around waiting for us to go to Congress and decide and make decisions on how we're going to protect this place that we call home, planet Earth. This planet is a living thing. It really is. This planet moves. This planet shifts. This planet has, I guess, what you would even call a blood flow because of the volcanoes and the lava and at the center of the planet and going through this planet is alive. And we're more like lice. That's what we're more like. And what happens when lice becomes too much, and there's so many of them, and they're noticeable, and people finally figure it out? What happens? They get killed. They get wiped out. The head is washed, and treatments are done, and it's eradicated. Well, eventually, our planet is going to be going through a delicing treatment, if you want to call it that. And it will cleanse itself of things that cause it damage, aka human beings. And our planet does not need to wait for us in order to make this decision. It's not going to wait for Republicans to vote on it. It's not going to wait for Democrats to vote on it. It's not going to wait for the Chinese to vote on it, or the Americans, or the Russians, or India, or the UK, or Australia. It's not going to wait for anybody. It's going to make its own decision. And when it does, I honestly believe that humanity won't be able to survive. Because we know what the problem is, and we know the things that we need to do to fix it, but we're willing to be ignorant in order to have the things that make us comfortable. Newsflash, you're not always going to be comfortable, because the decision is not always going to be yours. Right now we have the decision, but eventually it's not going to be. Another thing that I want to talk about is, in society we have people let's pick one out, like a prostitute. Prostitutes. We have prostitutes in our society. Those kind of people, what they do is wrong. They pay, they get paid for sex, is what they do. And in some societies, they've decided that if you put them in a building and you dress them up, and that it's okay. But that's beside the point. Anyways, in the United States, we have so many things that we say are wrong, and we don't do anything to fix it. What we do is we do stuff, we call it fixing it, but really we're suppressing it. When it comes to prostitution, we have made it so very hard for people who are prostitutes. And the thing is that 95% of these people are not prostitutes because they want to be. They're prostitutes because of circumstances in their life, because they were forced into this position, and they're trapped by pimps, and they're trafficked when they are young children, and they're forced into this lifestyle, and they have no education, no job skills, they know nothing, and they are owned by people. And what did we do to these people? Well, there is no, we barely do anything. We make it more difficult for them to get out of this circle of prostitution than we do to help them. We don't give them the education that they need. So many things that are wrong in our society, that people do wrong, and the slums that people live in, where these gangs are, festering everywhere. When you look at a city that has no gangs, and you look at a city with gangs, the difference that you can see is that the people in the city with no gangs, everybody is giving an opportunity. There are so many other options given to those people that they don't need to turn to violence and stealing and those kind of things. And when you look at the other place, there are no options for these people. There is no education for these people. There are no other directions, except for the people who are already stuck in the circle of gang violence, to sit there and look at the kids and say, hey, you can be a part of what I'm a part of, because there's nowhere else to go, and this is all you've got. And when that's all you've got to survive, to feed yourself and to clothe yourself, then that's what people are going to do. And, it's clear that in many ways, and not just in the United States government and society, but in all societies, that the way we deal with so many things is so broken. And it's horrible, because we don't help these people. We just keep sending them in a circle until eventually these people just kill themselves. And, so many people, I'm going to take a line from a song that I really like, and the line is that to a lot of people, the only people who are people who think and look like you. Well, not everybody's going to look like you, and not everybody's going to think like you. And to think that everybody will, or that you can force everybody to, is a sad thing, because it's never going to happen, because everybody is different. And if you follow in the footsteps of these people, you'll find out things you never knew that you never knew about these people. So much discrimination, so much violence, so much bigotry. All because people are unwilling to learn about other people and to understand. And so many people, they take discrimination and they cover it up with something else. And a lot of people, one thing that they cover up with is with religion. They'll take discrimination, they'll cover it with religion, and suddenly it's religion. And suddenly it makes it okay. Like if you put the stamp of religion on discrimination, suddenly discrimination is okay. And discrimination will never be okay.